Hey everyone, welcome back to Filling the Gap with me, the world's most socially awkward YouTuber. This week I was going to do, today's Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day Mom, and this week I was going to do a video with my mum, but I am chained to my desk writing an essay and my mum's on a boat somewhere. She's gone sailing for the weekend, so that's not going to happen this week. And then I was going to do my favourite books, but I only have 2 of them with me, so I can't do that either. So I thought this week I would do a video about my tattoos. So if you are a member of my family, a little disclaimer for you, you don't like my tattoos, so I'd probably switch off now. No, I don't think any parent really wants to see their child draw on their skin that they like lovingly created. I get that, but yeah, this is, I don't know, they're really important to me, so I thought it would be a nice thing to talk about, and a few of them I got because of my gap, MLKH, and I got because I survived the treatment and I'm still here. And just as little reminders that I've got 3 things and there are reasons to be happy. Lots of reasons. So, I kind of thought I'd start about talking about tattoos in general and kind of the stigma behind tattoos. Tattoos have been around for like thousands and thousands of years, so it's probably about time that the world started kind of embracing them. And they originate from like a number of different communities and cultures and traditions around the world, so they're not like a Western thing at all. But we, I guess, have appropriated that tradition, and tattooing occurs all over the world. And there's so many different styles and genres and different artists, and it really has become like a huge industry, and a huge, I don't want to say trend because obviously it's been happening for so many years, but they have definitely become a lot more popular, I think, in recent years. I think it probably is about time that stigma's disappeared. I kind of thought, yeah, I'd start about kind of talking about good reasons why I think tattoos are cool things to have and good things to have and shouldn't be looked down upon or associated with a certain type of person, because thousands and thousands of people have tattoos. So the main reason for me for getting a tattoo is because the condition that I have, MLKH, it's kind of traditional that MLKH warriors get this, it's kind of like a multicoloured flower tattoo, and I read a lot about it and I thought like, yeah, that's such a cool thing, such a nice way to kind of take charge and sort of own your own condition and talk about it, kind of deal with it in an artistic way. That's kind of what sparked the interest for me, and I didn't really like the tattoo itself. I'm quite like minimalist as a person, so it was a bit kind of multicoloured for me, but lots of people have it and it looks really cool on them, so each to their own. Everyone can have their own tattoo. So I would start probably by saying that your body is your own temple and you can decorate it in however way you like. No one can tell you what to do with your own body, especially when you get to an age especially when you get to 18, which is like the legal age in the UK where you can get a tattoo. You are technically an adult. Another thing is, if you're worried that people aren't going to like it, I don't really think that those people are, if they're going to make a really big thing about it and talk about how horrible your tattoos are, I don't really think you should be friends with those kind of people. They're probably not the right people for you to be friends with, so I think it's just important to bear that in mind. Also, a lot of people say like, oh, but when you get older you'll have a tattoo on you. Who cares? Like, the rest of your body is going to be wrinkly anyway, so you might as well just embrace the wrinkle. I don't know, I just think your body is like your own canvas, and I don't think there's any reason why you should keep that canvas pure because that's what society thinks is like correct. I don't know. I think also tattoos are a really lovely way of covering scars. I know there's this tattoo artist in Australia or New Zealand, I think, started this thing where she gave out free tattoos, maybe like 2 or 3 a year, I think, to people with self-harm scars on their arms, and she used to tattoo them and cover them up for free, just as like giving something back, which I think is a really lovely thing to do, and there are really nice ways of covering scars. I know a lot of people who have mastectomies get tattooed on their breasts, and I think, as I say, it's your own body. No one's ever going to be able to tell you what you can and can't do with it, and if it's a reminder of happy times or a person or anything like that, like how dare someone try to tell you that that's not okay to put on your own body. I would definitely say that think about what you're doing first, because it is a big commitment, you know, it's on your body for life. Tattoo removal is extremely expensive. So think about what you're going to tattoo, and like when I got my first tattoo I had the picture of what I wanted as my phone background for about a year before I got it, because I wanted to make sure, like, if I looked at my phone one day and I was like, I don't like that, then I wouldn't have got it, because I don't know, I feel like I'm the kind of person whose tastes change a lot, so all of my tattoos are very minimal and quite small, and they're all black lines apart from one which is blue, And yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on tattoos. I think they're a really amazing expression of who you are as a person, and I think it's about time the world accepted that. Okay, so without further ado, I figured I would talk to you about my own tattoos. So the first one that I got is a lotus flower, and it looks like this. And I got it like 3 or 4 days after my 18th birthday. I literally waited and waited and waited and like saved up, and I was so excited about it, and I was like really scared. I was like, it's gonna hurt so much. And I remember I went with some friends from school to go get it done, and it was just such a like funny afternoon. But I really love it. It also like kind of lines up with my freckle on my arm, which is really because it's the first one I ever got, and it's really special to me. And I got a lotus flower because I did a lot of research into the lotus flower. I kind of thought it was really just pretty at first, and then I thought like I don't want to get something personally that doesn't mean something to me. Really wanted to get a flower because of the MLKH flower. And the lotus flower just kind of seemed right, and then I did some research into it, and in Buddhism, I'm not a Buddhist, but in Buddhism it represents, it's kind of like a lotus flower grows in a pond, and it goes through the murk and the dirt, and then when it blooms, it's blooming through adversity into enlightenment is kind of what it means.
I'll bet that when it blooms, it will be the most beautiful of all.
And it's like a birth in itself. So I was kind of grappling with the idea of wanting to have my own birth, because I couldn't do that kind of naturally. So it's a bit kind of complicated, but that's kind of what it means, that like you've gone through shit and then you bloom into a flower. Second one I got is this. I got this one in Leeds when I was at music school, and I went to go get it with my flatmate Lauren, and I got it because I feel like everyone's going to comment and be like, this is the worst idea you've ever had. But you know how like people send X's at the end of texts, like kisses? Well, me and my boyfriend, like when we first started like talking and stuff, I was like, why do people send each other X's? Like, why didn't everyone have their own little thing? So we ended up sending each other the blue swirl emoji, like as a heart or an X or whatever, and I don't know, it just became kind of like a symbol of like a happiness for me, and like a memento of our relationship. And I just one day thought it'd be a good idea to get tattooed on me, and I think it's really cool. A lot of people are like, oh, but what happens if you break up or something like that? But I don't think like I would always look back on this time no matter what happens. Like, I sincerely hope that it goes on forever and ever. But if something were to happen, I think I'd always look back on this time as one of the happiest times like in my whole entire life. So yeah, I think it will just always be a constant reminder that happiness is possible, and that there are amazing people in the world who will make you incredibly happy and support you no matter what. Okay, so moving on to my third one. A lot of people call this my Christmas tree tattoo. Like, the amount of flack that I've had about my Christmas tree tattoo is ridiculous. But the reason I got it is because one of my favourite childhood books, which I actually can't remember the name of my favourite lines, is storms make trees take deeper roots. And I don't know, I just thought that was a really lovely sentiment, kind of similar to the lotus flower, in that everyone goes through hard times, but they just make us stronger and more resilient, and more grounded. So I thought that was really nice, and then I saw this illustration of just some kind of pencil drawing trees, like really simple fir trees, and there were some that were like this, and then obviously triangles like mine. And I got this kind of on a whim, like I knew I was going to get it, but I hadn't like planned it or got an appointment or anything. And then I was with my friend Phoebe in London one day, and we walked past this tattoo shop, and I was like, should I just go and get it? And so I did, and I think for a minute I sat in the chair and I was like, oh my god, I got this on a whim, what if I regret it? But I really don't. I think it's actually one of my favourites. It's got really thin, beautiful lines, and the meaning behind it is really important to me, so I like it. Okay, so moving on to my last and final tattoo. If my parents are watching this, I don't think you know about this one. But this one is, I think I've said this about all of them, but this one is, I don't even know how to like put it into words, but I think this is probably the most important to me. This tattoo was drawn by, wait, let me just show you it first. Okay, so that tattoo was drawn by an incredible artist that I found on Instagram called Frances Cannon, and she lives in Melbourne, and she just draws the most beautiful drawings of women of all different shapes and sizes, of different ethnicity. I can't say that one. Ethnicity. And she's drawn girls with penises, like for trans people. I don't know, she's just a really influential and modern and important artist. I actually made her one of my women crushes for Women's History Month because I just adore her, and I think she's very brave and clever, and she's using her art in a really powerful way to change stigmas, and I think that is incredibly gallant and important. So she has these things called tattoo tickets, and you kind of get this tattoo ticket and then she will draw you your tattoo, and we emailed about it a lot and kind of spoke about it and talked about how kind of what I wanted it to represent, and I wanted a woman in a pair of pants for the Pants Project, because this really has changed my life. This whole project has completely changed my view of the world, of myself, with my condition. It's given me so much kind of strength and made me realise that I'm so much more than my condition, and I wanted that reminder of the power that pants have, not just for me but for a huge amount of people. So we came up with this idea, and originally I was just going to have like a pair of pants and kind of drawn in her style, and then she sent me this picture through, and I remember crying when I was like, that's exactly what I want, and I know it will mean a lot to me, and it's so beautifully tattooed. I got it tattooed in London by this really cool guy, I can't remember his name, maybe I'll link it down below. And I went with my cousin. I went on the day that I launched the Pants Project, so it really was a pretty emotional and extremely special day for me. I really love it. Every time I look in the mirror and I'm like getting dressed and I see it, it just fills me with such like pride for the project, and knowing that kind of pants power that I was given I can transfer to other people. So yeah, those are all my tattoos. I hope you found this kind of interesting. It's a bit kind of off the cuff. As I say, I wanted to do a Mother's Day video, but Mum's off sailing. So yeah, and then next week I'll be home, so I'm thinking about maybe doing one with my dogs. But yeah, I hope you've all had a lovely week in the sunshine. Okay, see you soon!